80% of the 80% of women are going only for like top 20% of men, right? This is not a coincidence, right? So basically, what can we do about it? There's really not much you can do about it, because the gym does not self-improve. There's no such thing as self-improvement. You can't change yourself genetically unless you go to Turkey and get like face surgeries and height surgeries, because we obviously know that women only care about your face and height. It's got nothing to do with your muscle. Muscle is not going to do anything. Okay, so you just have to be tall and you just have to look good. That's it, regardless of your race. And women only go for the top 10% of men, regardless of race, anyway. So yeah, it's all about the black pill. The red pill is fake. You
Okay, so you guys are back now. You've had a watch of it. Now, from that first video, the guy goes by the name of Jules. Now, I had mentioned this guy in the other incel video previously. So it was called Exposing the Dark World of Incels. Now, this dirty little rodent has been creating more live streams about Muslim women doing zina. I mean, how pathetic do you have to be? So in that video, the first bit was when he's openly made a statement of shirk. So shirk is disbelief in God. So he was telling another guy to worship his Bengali feet. So that was from the first bit. And then the second bit is him openly admitting that he sleeps with brothels. I mean, how pathetic do you have to be? You know the ones there where you just don't get nothing. Not even getting fat chicks. You're not getting ugly girls. You're not getting nothing. You have to go with a prosy. Prosy is prostitute. I mean, is this what guys have become nowadays? The weakest in society, the weakest incels. I mean, damn, like this guy here, Jules, right? If he was so deprived, shit, what he could have done is hit me up. I would have sent him a few girls. I sent him a few his way. You know, a couple women who are even Muslim girls, I'll send them his way. Be like, oh yeah, sort him out. Because he's in a famine right now. You know, I ain't got nothing. You know, this is what the issue is. These little maggots are on the internet talking their filth. And then they expect women to want to sleep with them. I mean, what sort of woman would want to go near a dirty little rodent like that? Exposing women's sins. Exposing how women are sleeping around with other guys. Going out of his way to even create fake accounts to message girls. You know, so this little maggot, what he must have done was, he must have said that how he would create accounts, fake accounts of BLK guys, black guys, and he would message Muslim women. And then what he was doing is he was trying to do like a little survey to see that, oh yeah, what Muslim woman will respond to them. So this guy here has openly admitted he sleeps with brothels because he don't get no action. You know, so deprived. And then when he gets home, he has to create fake accounts to message girls. You know, so this is what the stages are. It starts off with guys consuming X-rated content. That's like the lowest level. Then it gets to the hardcore content. Then it gets to sharing that content on Telegram. So that's what he was mentioning, how he was sharing and watching Muslim women committing zina on Telegram. Then he decided, okay, let me create a podcast and let me bring two other guys who are non-Muslim onto the panel, onto the podcast, and get them to talk about sleeping with Muslim women. So you got two black guys talking about how they're sleeping with Muslim women. And even these two guys here were just violating him. Laughing at him. Looking at this clown here doesn't get nothing. You know, if you're not even getting women from your own community That's a you problem. You know, it ain't to do with anyone else. You know, so I was speaking to one of my friends, right, Abdul, and he was telling me the same thing. He was these little incels are on the lives all day long, chatting a bunch of rubbish. You know, they ain't got no life. And then they're complaining that women don't want them. You know, so if women don't want them from within their own community, that's because they're the incel that needs to work on themselves. You know, they got weakness from within. But this is what it is. They don't want to address that. They don't want to address that the fact is that they're bum losers in life. Now this guy here, right, what he must have done was he was trying to plot against me. So I'd uploaded that video about the incel mentality, and then a couple days later he must have deleted his accounts like a little rodent. He ran off. The heat got too much. And then now he started it up again. He's like, oh, okay, heat's died down now. Let me jump back on it. Nah. So then what he done was he tried to get other people to turn against me, and then he was trying to destroy and assassinate my character, which flopped. You know, you messed up the move. And then when he realized afterwards, he was like, okay, you know, that didn't quite work. He tried to supposedly expose me, but it didn't happen. He thought that, I'd crumble or I'd just stop creating content. Now that's how pathetic these people are. They literally just spend all day on the internet, all day long. You know, what sort of maggot stays on the phone all day and stays behind the screen, covers his face as well, like a little coward? Now, so what these people do is they go on these live streams, they talk about all this filth, and then because they're hiding behind the screen, they know that people just can't have a direct hit at them. So next point is hatred. Now, you got the first incel, Jules, got the second incel, don't know what his name is. He's crying and he's complaining, saying that you need to do facial surgery and you need to do height surgery in order to get women. I mean, how pathetic do these guys have to be? So you must have mentioned about, I think, what, CEOs, 80% of CEOs are above 6 feet. That dirty beta male incel doesn't seem to realize that majority of CEOs come from rich families. They literally trust fund babies. So by default, they're going to be grown up in privileged households. He's like, oh yeah, these people are rich, they're successful, this and that. Majority of CEOs, they've literally started off like that. So you got, for example, Donald Trump. He didn't just become a billionaire. His dad was a multi-millionaire. And then he funded Donald Trump as well on his projects and stuff like that. Now, so what it is, right? These people here, right? They've just been spending too long on the internet. That's what the issue is. And they've developed so much hatred towards women that they have to go out of their way to come up with all of these terms, conditions. They're like, oh yeah, I'm a black pill, I'm a red pill, I'm a flipping crack pill, whatever BS. You know, you might as well just go out there and just jump off a cliff. Clearly you guys ain't getting nothing. Ain't getting nowhere. And these are the same people, they're saying that they're getting thoughts of unaliving themselves. Well, there's a reason why. It's because you lot here are just doing so much sins on a day-to-day basis. That's what happens. It creates dark energy. You end up developing a black heart. So that's what it is. So there's a hadith about it. It's like each sin that happens, each sin that a person commits, it leaves a black dot on the heart. And then it gets to the point where it's just completely covered. So that's what happens. And then these people here eventually leave the folds of, the deen. So with that guy, Jules, dirty little rodent, make an open statement of kufr. So next point is victim. The incels complain all day about how it's women's fault. Women are to blame for this mess. They don't want to take into account that these dirty, weak incels are literally on TikTok lives all day long. They're the first to throw the victim card and try and twist the narrative to try and fit their own dirty perversion. I mean, what sort of guy goes and sleeps with brothels and he's proud of it? Post that on the internet. Oh, I'm sleeping with brothels. I'm not getting nothing. Making the Asian community look bad. I swear, these people here, little maggots. And this is what it is, they just hide on the internet. And then when they're outside, out and about, they're always looking left and right. They're thinking, oh, someone's going to try and attack me. Now, this is what happens when you spend too long on the internet, when you consume all this filth, when you consume, drugs and all these other intoxicants. Your brain becomes like mush. Can't think straight. So, final point is cycle. This cycle here that these incels are in, I'd love to see them try and break out of it. They're literally just trapped in that. Reason being is because they've developed so many bad habits. They've developed such contagious energy, dirty energy, that any woman who comes in contact with them, the woman is going to be repulsed by that. She's going to be like, get away from me. Now that's what happens. So people who develop these extreme views go out of their way to create videos and live streams on other people doing zina and talking about other people's private parts. What do you expect to happen to you? Now this clown here must have been saying how he gets BBC nightmares. I mean, if you're getting them kind of dreams, oh mate, God help you. Dirty little rodent. He thought the last video was bad. I swear, this one is a direct hit at this guy. Yeah, that's what happens when this guy here, he tried to do character assassination. Flopped, didn't work. So he realizes next time in the future, he's going to need to delete all his live streams. He's going to need to delete all his content. He's going to never talk on my name again. Because them type of videos there, when they go out to the mainstream, this guy here, he's never ever going to be accepted within the Muslim community. Not just Muslim community, but in general. Imagine having a video like that on the internet talking about how you're sleeping with brothels. Ain't got no shame. So, just to wrap up, weakness, these weak beta males, weak incels, all they do is cry on the internet. They're dirty manipulators, rodents, trying to expose Muslim sisters. What sort of coward does that? Makes it his life ambition to go out his way to try and destroy other women's names and to target other women. Going out there creating podcasts about other non-Muslim guys sleeping with Muslim women. No wonder he took that video down. He thought to himself, he was getting obviously too much death threats. Too many people were after him. And obviously his family disowned him as well. Got rid of him. It was like, oh yeah, dirty little rodent, get out of here. Bringing bestie on our family. Bringing shame, dishonor on our family. What sort of son is that? Within the Asian community, parents want their sons, daughters, to work hard. Doctors, lawyers, whatever profession. Nah, they've got a son who's a dirty rodent who's trying to expose Muslim sisters doing zina. Now that's what they raised. They raised a little waste man like that. Straight up bum. The next one after that was hatred. That's what happens with these people. They develop so much hatred, so much nasty poison within themselves that they have to go onto live streams on TikTok to try and push their views out there. And there's a few other incels that he's got in his community as well, who are on the same page as him. They're also sick, dirty, vile individuals as well. None of these people get respect by women. None of these people get acknowledged. And the next one after that was victim. These people here are quick to throw in the victim card. They're quick to say, oh yeah, women are bad, they're no good, they're evil, it's in their nature to sleep around. Pathetic. So this mindset, right? Anybody who consumes these type of views, they're only going to get worse results with both men and women. Now, this is completely unhealthy to have these type of obsessions. Obsessions with BBC, Olympics. That's what you would call these topics. I mean, has this guy got no shame? Where's the shame gone? People ain't got no shame nowadays. And the final point was cycle. These type of people, they're only going to be in a vicious cycle and it's going to continue going downward. So anybody who's associating with these sets of people, they're just going to go get dragged down with them. So any woman who he even comes across in the future, let's say he comes across a woman who is a virgin, or a woman who's a practicing Muslim or pious woman. As soon as she comes across his videos, his live streams, his podcast, She's just gonna run away from him. She's gonna literally get away from this dirty rodent. That's what happens with these people here. When they create this type of content, when they consume filth, when they go down that rabbit hole and they just keep going down it, and they just get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. Gets to the point where they're just completely poisoned. So that's only the stuff that we know about, that he's doing on the internet, and what these other incels are doing in front of the camera. Who knows what's happening behind closed doors? All types of filth. So I hope that makes sense, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.